Hey, I'm Keith St. Ange, and I'm sitting here with a legend. Now, he might not say that, he might get a little embarrassed by that, but he is. This is Danny Bray. I haven't seen him in 20 years. He was one of the very first inverted jumpers that we know of with the Casey Scalises and the Mike Seipels, and you're right in that mix. So that's pretty cool, pretty awesome. The thing that I remember about him the most is he was this big, massive dude, right?
Correct, yeah.
Rodeo man. He actually trained hard and was a world champion steer wrestler, right?
Correct. As the 2003 National Senior Pro Rodeo Association Steer Wrestling Champion.
Wow, that's impressive. So how'd you get into that?
You know, after I left barefooting, I spent a couple years just training and bodybuilding for a while. And my grandfather was involved in horses, and so was my mom. And I've always been, I wouldn't call myself a horse trainer, but I've been a really good jockey. And my grandfather passed away, and there were some things that were unsaid between my grandfather and me. And I decided that I wanted to try to be a rodeo cowboy. So I surrounded myself with a good support group because I did have the connections to get into rodeo, and that's how I got back started to try to get to rodeo.
Wow, that's awesome. So now, how'd you get into barefoot water skiing?
I actually got into barefoot water skiing through my parents also. My dad used to be a show skier. So at the same time that I was growing up as a boy, I was riding horses and I was also water skiing. But my first love has always been water skiing.
Really?
Yes.
Even above being a star in the rodeo?
Even above being a star in the rodeo.
Wow,
I
that's cool.
actually was training in my 20s to water ski and to compete at a national level of barefooting at that point in time. Still keeping my roots with the horses, but really the passion at that time in my life was for barefoot.
That's cool. So one of the things he's known for back in the day is when he jumped inverted, he wore this slick suit, which is what the skiers, the ski flyers, and the big jumpers, the 3-event jumpers for the long distance, they get that really slick saran wrap looking stuff. He had a white one, and I remember being at, I think it was the 93 Nationals in Okeechobee as a young kid, seeing this massive, we'll call you the steer this time because you were so big like a steer.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Flying through the air in this big, long, white getup. How did you come about having that thing?
You know, I've always kind of been a guy that I like to envision and take my own path to things, and I came up with an idea that if I wore this suit, I watched the 3-event skiers flying through the air on the suits, and I knew it was slick because I had a 3-event background also, and I knew it was slick, so I decided, well, why can't we use that for barefoot water skiing in the jump event? You know, being a young kid in my mid to late 20s, I decided that I was going to buy one and try it out for size. So I got one and I took it home and I practiced with it. And one thing I did find out with that suit, I don't know if it really kept me in the air any longer, but it sure made the landings a little bit smoother. Because you could slide, and in those days we didn't know, we didn't have the technology of the inverted jump. But I can say honestly, it helped me on my landings to a certain extent.
No, that's cool, man. So we've loved having you here at the World Barefoot Center. It's been cool to get to know you and get your history on the barefoot side and the rodeo side. But just a simple question: what is it about barefoot water skiing that you love?
I think it's the freedom and the sliding of the water against my feet, and it's hard to explain. It's that freedom feel that you get sliding on the feet, that adrenaline rush of skiing on your feet at 45 miles an hour and being able to be skiing forwards 1 second and the next second you're skiing backwards.
Yeah.
There's nothing more thrilling that I can think of in my life.
All right. Last question I have for you is, what are the similarities to being a professional and pro rodeo steer wrestler and barefoot water skiing? Any similarities?
Yeah, and people really wouldn't think that there is, but because I had spent such a long time holding onto a handle and gliding across the water, the positions of holding the handle and skiing forward with that angulation that you have, ankles, knees, hips, chest, all in a rear angle. The same thing applies to when you fly off of a horse and grab the steer's horns, because the steer, once you grab the horns, the horse is going to run past the steer. So it throws your legs out in front, and you have to slide on the dirt exactly like you have to slide on the water. The positions are almost exactly the same.
Oh, wow.
The handle position is different, but the angulation and the sliding method are exactly the same on the water as they are on the dirt.
Cool. That's awesome, man. We enjoyed having you here. Anything else you want to add to our followers in barefoot water skiing?
You know, I'm just glad to be back and skiing again. Like I said, it's always been my first love, and I'm looking forward to my relationship with WBC, and who knows, maybe I'll even start skiing tournaments again.
Cool, man. Great to have you back, buddy.
Thanks.
Sweet.
On the next tour. Until then, Pat, show them how we